Are you ready, Grace?
Yes.
Make sure.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, June 4th, 2025 at 1:32 p.m. The Sarasota Transportation Disadvantage meeting is called to order. Since some of us had such great practice, our memories are going to go to the test and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now go around the table for introductions and confirmation of the quorum. If there's anyone joining online, please introduce yourself after we have gone around the table. Rachel, we're good for the quorum. I got that. I'll start. I am Brett Gottschalk, and I am here from the Agency for Persons with Disabilities. Kimberly.
Kim Ritter, Department of Education, Vocational Rehabilitation.
Marshini Punta, MPO staff.
James Martinez, Community Planner with the Department of Health.
Me.
Yes.
Alexandra Ellen Foley, Lighthouse Vision Law Center. Tamara Shells with Breeze Transit.
Seth Kling with Breeze Transit.
Hey everybody, I'm Cameron Hodgin. I'm representing Eastern Hill, Southwest Florida today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marisol Morado, serving from the Area Agency on Aging for Southwest Florida, Department of Elder Affairs.
I'm Brenda Gordon, Agency for Healthcare Administration, Medicaid.
Scott Lansing, MTM Transit.
Aretha Gibson, Sarasota County Veteran Service Officer.
Derek Bug, Sarasota County Veteran Services.
Bill Hanson, Transit Coordinator at the Florida Department of Transportation.
David McCullough, Fiscal Manager, NPO.
All right, welcome anyone online.
Just me, Lindsay Heinrich with the MPO.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, we will now open the meeting for public comment, including any comments on agenda items. On the screen, you can see the 3 ways for the public to provide input to the LCB. All comments received will be shared with the committee members and made part of the public record. Rachel, do we have any? We do not have any public comment cards. All right, moving right on to the adoption of the minutes from the February 5th, 2025 meeting. I will now entertain a motion for anybody looking to adopt the minutes for February's meeting. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Can you say your name, because Lindsay is doing the minutes virtually, so if she can attach a name to it, that'd be helpful.
Marisol Morado.
Thank you. We have a second.
I'll second Alexandra Ellen Foley.
Thank you. Is there any discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. We will now move to number 5 on your agenda, the action items. Starting with 5A, approval of the 2025-26 rate model. Seth Kling from Breeze Transit will present on this.
What's the next slide? So this year's rate, this year's rate model has gone down a little bit. Ambulatory will be $30.64. The wheelchair will be $52.52. Based on the rate model, that's what we'll charge the FCTD commission. The amount of county cash that's going into it has gone up by 8% this year. The Fairfax recovery is expected to be flat. The TD grant, I think we're looking at about a 2% increase on that one. We had to increase the amount of grants we got outside of the CARES, CARISA, because the COVID money is now gone. So our grants that we normally use for other things, we have sucked 108% of what we normally get in to help pay for the TD transportation. If you look at the pie chart, the TD grant covers about 33% of all the costs associated with the TD trips. And then the county funded 66.67% of that. Every time we come through here, you hear me that I'm going to say that prioritization of trips based on purpose is going to be forthcoming. And this is why, because the amount of service we provide far exceeds the amount of money incoming for the services.
I think we talked about this in last meeting, that's due to just like population, right? The rate model is just based upon how many people are living in Sarasota County or how many trips that are
I
used.
don't know how the rate model works. You put some numbers in it, it does some magic stuff in the back
Okay.
end.
Besides the prioritization, is there any other like unintended consequences of seeing the rates drop? Like
No.
you guys expecting,
The rates drop because as a service in general, we're becoming more efficient. So I'm able to provide more trips at less cost, so
okay, so you're
that's why the rates are going down.
a victim of your own success.
I'm okay with that. Was there another slide?
Yeah, David
We-
said
we
to add
did.
this.
We included, I don't know, you guys saw, must have seen it yesterday, the Sherry sent you.
Yeah.
You approved, so I didn't know if you guys wanted it on there, so I put it just in case.
So, and yeah, essentially, it wasn't approved until I think yesterday, I got the email. So today, the recommendation from us is to approve the rate model. And that is it for the rate model.
Thank you, Seth. Do I have a motion to approve the 25-26 rate model? Contingent of approval from the CTD.
Murder, I move to approve.
Great, thank you, Kim.
I'll second Marisol Murado.
Thank you. Is there anybody, let's go to a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? See none, the motion passes unanimously. Okay. Next is 5B, the approval of the Transportation Disadvantaged Service Plan, or otherwise known as the TDSP annual update. Tamara Scholes from Breeze Transit will present on this item. Take it away.
Good afternoon. So today I'm just going to provide an overview of our TDSP that we are requesting your approval to complete our annual update requirement. Quick overview. Many of you have seen this before, but just a reminder. So again, this is a 5-year strategic plan where we are required to do annual updates. And this is a requirement for receiving some of those state funding to operate the TD program. And again, this plan is developed by the CTC, which is Sarasota County, and the planning agency, which is the MPO. And then you as the LCB review and approve the plan before we submit it to the CTD for their approval. So some related actions for the TDSP, the major update was approved in January of 2024. And because of how the timing worked out that year, we had to turn around and do an annual update for 2024 a few months later in May. And then we started our 2025 annual update process back in November, where we provided some sections of the plan for you to review and approve. And also back in February, you saw a portion of the plan for your review and approval. So today we are requesting the approval of the entire TDSP annual update. Again, there's 5 sections, major sections of the plan. And in the next slides, I'm just going to go through those sections quickly to show you kind of highlights of what we updated in each of those sections of the plan. In the introduction, a large part of the introduction talks about our public outreach activities. And because we are concurrently working on updating our transit development plan, we had a lot of public outreach and engagement that we conducted for that. So we included some summaries of those findings in the public participation portion of this plan, and particularly any that were relevant for TD riders. And then updated those outreach activities to reflect that. And then also we'll have the roll call voting sheet that will be inserted in the plan to reflect today's actions, and I will provide that to you right at the end so we can document that. For the service area profile and demographics, just a minor update to reflect the removal of the siesta key on-demand zone that happened in November last year, so minor change there. Review the service analysis portion and no updates were required there. For the goals, objectives, and strategies, we brought that to you in November for your review and approval, and there were no changes recommended for that section. In the service plan, again, we looked at updating the service area changes for the on-demand zone, and then also updated the qualifying incomes for 2025. That's based on the HUD numbers. That was brought to you back in February, and you had reviewed and approved that section. The cost revenue allocation rate structure, which Seth just spoke about, we updated that in the plan. And I put an asterisk there that it was pending approval by the CTD, but as Seth mentioned, we could just get approval from them yesterday. So the language in the plan will be updated to reflect that. Currently, it says pending their approval, but I'll note that that they did approve that. And finally, we have the quality assurance section, which includes evaluation of the CTC that was done in May. The LCB and NPO and CTC met to review the evaluation workbook. I did not get findings of that incorporated in time for this report, but it is noted that the evaluation occurred, and then the updates from that will be included in the next annual summary. Just a couple appendices were updated, the new vehicle inventory, and again, the detailed information from the rate model is included in the appendix. If you really want to dig into all the numbers, it's there. So our next steps, hopefully with today's approval, we'll be able to submit it to the CTD for their approval by July 1st. And then we'll be back in November to talk about the next update. And again, so just a reminder, today we're looking for approval of this TDSP to submit to the CTD.
Say that 5 times faster. Do we have any questions for Tamara before we move to a vote? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the TDSP update?
A motion to approve the TDSP update.
Thank you.
Maricela.
Thank you, Maricela. Okay. All right, Daryl Butler seconds. Thank you guys so much. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Right. Moving on to action item 5C, we now kick it back to Seth and David Machado, and they'll present on the approval of the Community Transportation Coordinator CTC evaluation.
So do you want to say anything this time around, or you want me to do it?
No, I think when we went through and we did it, there was. I think we had one application had an issue with it. I don't remember off the top of my head what the findings all were.
Okay, so no actual findings, more recommendations. It was evaluation member, some of the evaluation members were concerned or had concerns regarding the methodology of feedback from the riders, that there was no real way of providing input. That was also feedback received from some of the riders that we surveyed during the calls. That they felt that there was no way of getting any, it went both ways, complaints or good, or are saying something good about either the drivers, the trips, or how it went. So there's that level of concern. I'm gonna use the word concern because it's what's in my head right now. And in addition to that, it was one thing that we noted, that was because of concern that you brought up, Seth, is that there may be a need for the CTC to increase the level of oversight over the contractors, giving the communication of I'm trying to put this in political words. The level of how the vehicles were taken care of, were they being proper custodians of the vehicles, were they taken care of adequately? And that may have not met the level of what Breeze wants to. So all those notes that were brought up in the evaluation were included on that, no actual findings, more of recommendations moving forward as to what the LCB would recommend that the CTC do to mitigate those issues.
One more time. I know in that same process, we had talked about the application process and how we are, right now, it's currently a paper only wet signature type application process. And going forward, that is going to end up going away or to be used very limited. So it's going to be online applications with no digital signature, with no signatures. It's all gonna be done through either their web app or your phone app. And I'm not positive that the FCTD is ready for that yet. So that's kind of our message back to them, is that you need to prepare for this, start looking at it now, so when it does happen, you're not caught off guard.
That was another item thanks for reminding me, that we noted in the evaluation also, is that although we understand the process moving forward, we understand that the process is not there. And that the move to go full digital may hinder the process for the population that we're trying to service. Not everybody can use a computer, smartphone, tablet. So even though we understand that that's where things are going, we don't believe this process is still there, or the ability is still there. So part of the recommendations were to explore while the world gets there, to continue to allow for paper forms, because we do understand that there's populations that may not be able to do it, and it may hinder their ability to be part of the system, be a writer in the system. I think that was it.
I would say for our population, we will still see it on digital. Because we can't use paper.
Well, both of them make perfect sense. I can see both. Both. And it goes back to the past when it was all over paper form. We brought it up, maybe not in the meetings, but we did bring it in other meetings that we've had, is by doing it all paper, is it limiting? And if you're doing it paper, what is the process for those that can't read, they can't write, they can't. So it hinders the process in both sides. That's our recommendation, and that's how we noted it in the evaluation. Just want to put it forward.
Not that it matters for much, but we moved to we do digital now as of December and paper, and we clearly see a 50% split in application. So you go, it's truly that I work for the Agency for Persons with Disabilities, and that's it. So it's like, it's really two sides of a coin for, you having both is just such a benefit that for everyone going digital that you think you're picking up, you gotta remember that you might be leaving some people behind. So it's just been interesting, we track that data, and it is truly a 50-50 split.
Just speaking from experience, I've had several clients come in who don't have email.
Yeah.
And they don't have transportation, so it is difficult with individuals with disabilities. So I know, and just a suggestion, if they can call and someone on the other end fill it out, I don't know how you would get the signature on it, but it just kind of somehow work around that might be an option. Along with the elderly population, like my dad can't get around, he's 83, so I've been driving him, he is a veteran, but he doesn't check his email. He's very frustrated with the computer, even though he can do some things, it's like he doesn't like talking to automated, and then it just, so it's just like you got different people, and it may be hard to accommodate everybody, but it'll be interesting moving forward how this can work out.
We can all agree that, it's always refreshing when you call somebody, customer service, and an actual person answers the phone, not an automatic recorder or nowadays, the AI version of it.
Even some of my clients that I work with, their mom or dad get the email, so they're able to DocuSign and whatnot, but that's some of my people, the clients who 21 or whatever, 18, 21, 30, and they don't have email, or they're paranoid and they don't want to be on the computer, it's just kind of like you have so many different people, especially with the being disabled, depending on what the disability is, it just.
But to Seth's point on that one, even the DocuSign is not allowed, it has to be wet signature. Currently,
Right.
that's what it's required. So it hinders the process on both sides of the street, if you want to put it that way. So.
Excellent.
Awesome, yes, that would be it, then our recommendation is the approval.
Are you sure?
Are you positive?
With Seth's recommendation, if there's any other questions or comments towards David, Seth, anything for the good of the order before we move to vote on it? Seeing none, I do request that a motion be made to approve the Community Transportation Coordinator CTC evaluation.
I move to approve all of that, Alexandra Ellen Foley.
All right, thank you, Alexandra. Do we have a second? How about you, James? You gotta jump into the party.
I second James Martinez.
Thank you for the, we're welcoming about it,
You see what he did with you?
Yeah.
That's what we did.
You were me 4 years ago, look where you could be sitting soon. 5 years ago. Yes, that's right. Daryl got me into that, there you go, we're all doing it, so, well, thank you, James, for seconding. We make a motion, all those in favor for approval, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone. All right, just when you think Seth was done, we go right back to him. Next on the agenda is presentations. First is 6A CTC report by Seth.
Okay, so this is the same format as last time. It's this is going to be for the last quarter. We're running over 50,000 trips a month through our vendor provided services. Of those 50,000 trips, about 7,000 are actual TV trips, which is 12 to 15%, depending on how many trips we're doing that month. Our on-demand service runs, of those 50,000, is doing almost 40,000 of those. If you look at last year, we were doing about 30,000. This year we did 37,000 in January. March was even bigger. We did 32 in last year and 38 this year. Our number of passengers has risen 19%. You'll notice on this one, the Manatee trips has a number for it. So 1,842 trips this quarter, which is an increase of 87%. But that's because last year we only did like 4, so. Our time in transit's gone up about 25%, our miles has gone up about 25%. and our number of unique riders has gone up about 20%. North Port is still our largest consumer of the on-demand zone, or on-demand trips, followed by Venice. Lido Longboat, and then at the very bottom, you'll see the blue strip for Manatee County. That should start getting bigger going forward. We had 98,000 requests last quarter. And my average passengers per trip is 1.13, which means that we are getting more grouped trips, which is lovely to see. And again, the ride ratings, 5-star, give us about 95%, give us that 5-star. And I push the button twice, it's freaking me out.
It does seem like you have an increase in participation. I think in the last presentation you had 13 point something.
We did this same time last year, we only had 10% participation. Going wrong way, slideshow. This is our Breeze Plus service for the first quarter of 2025. January, February, and March, 11,000, 12,000, and 12,700. The number of passengers we transported this last quarter went down 10%. But we had a 1% increase in distinct riders on the Breeze Plus service. The breakout of the schedule preference, the depart at or the arrive by times is about the same. Most of our people want to depart at time. And then our on-time performance, the last quarter was very good. Our depart at requests, we were 99.5% on time. And then for our arrive by requests, we were 99% on time.
That's pretty impressive.
Thank you. Blake Scott.
I'll remember that.
This should be the airport transfers. This is the exchange of individuals between us and Manatee County for their TD or ADA service. You'll notice that a lot of our trips are ADA. Very few TD trips that go across that border. And they're all under 100 a month. The same thing we talked about earlier, 4 to 6 a.m. and then around 4 p.m. is the high points because everybody's going to work, coming back from work. And the work trips are 70% of those. Medical, recreation, and education kind of fill out the rest of them.
That is good, about the airport, are the trolleys also ADA accessible?
Yes.
So could it be that part of the trips that aren't being taken, you know, is it that maybe they're doing the trolley instead of doing the TD stuff?
So people that use the fixed route wouldn't be included on any of this data. And we have no way to track that because there's not a TD eligibility for fixed route.
Right, yeah.
I think that is it for me.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yeah, sorry.
I've got a question. So for that last slide, that's said 15 unique riders. Is that in total for
last quarter?
For last quarter?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's just for the airport.
That's just the airport transfer. 15 unique individuals. They did 270 trips.
And it generally mean they're probably something for work related.
You know, that's the big purpose is the work purpose. So.
And do we use dedicated? Like, are there dedicated Breeze Plus airport vehicles that are only for the airport?
Absolutely not. It's a command response service, so you have to call ahead and make that reservation. And to do that at the airport, you have to coordinate with Manatee and Sarasota County to meet up and link there and make the transfer.
Gotcha.
How far does your service go into Manatee County?
So on the west side of the county, I go up just north of Easter Seals. And then on the remainder of the county, I go 3/4 of a mile north of University Avenue. And then there are a few spots in there where they've hooked up some new dialysis clinics along the Copper Creek or Cooper Creek Road. So we actually adjusted our zone to help include those into it.
Would it be beneficial for, I guess for the next meeting, to bring like a shaded map that shows like that the colors, the area, the boundaries? I think that would be beneficial for everybody here.
Okay.
That that aren't, you know, 3/4 of a mile, I can decipher it, but I'm not sure if everybody else can.
Yep.
Seth, when you say unique, that means unduplicated?
So yes, there was 15 unique rider IDs in that quarter. So there may have been 10 in January, could have been 12 in February, and 12 in March. But across all 3 months, there was 15 unique riders in that quarter.
And unique riders because they're had the most trips, consistent trips, or?
No, so the unique riders are like every individual that goes there's got a rider ID. So that means that 15 individuals used the service in that quarter. Each month, they may have been 10 of those individuals used it, and then a repeat 12 of them used it in February, but across that quarter, only 15 individuals used the service as a whole.
And again, that's just for the transfer part of it, not the whole system.
Going once, going twice.
What's it, this is, has nothing to do with, it's general, and like, what is the general feedback of the people who use it for the transfer? Is it like, do they find it pretty smooth? Is it, you see 15, is it like, do they find it like easy to use?
I will describe the process. So in order to make this happen, you have to call Manatee County and coordinate a trip to the airport. And then once you have that done, you have to call Sarasota County and coordinate a trip from the airport to wherever you want to go. You need to try and align those two trips.
Yeah.
Without having to make a crossover or vice versa from Sarasota to Manatee County. So the feedback, we don't get a lot of it. It's a necessity that people will do because it's there, but it is a complicated process.
Right. It's more those 15 use it because like they have
to,
not because it's like this.
It's not
walk in the
super
park.
flashy and fancy.
No, I get, yeah, it's more of like it's a necessity service more than it.
When we had our temporary location on Bayshore Gardens Parkway, we had clients who had to use it and they complained a lot. But it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I get some of these, it's just gonna be what it is. It's like it's making the best of a difficult situation.
So they're just going there for the airport, they're just going to train to.
These are just transferred between the counties.
Okay. Is there other 99 designations that they do that or just?
There's none.
Just the airport.
The 99 doesn't go all the way down like it used to?
99 does.
Okay.
But remember, the individuals that cannot use the fixed route service because of their disability are the ADA individuals.
Alright.
And then the ADA zone is limited in scope. So there are individuals that are in that ADA zone that need trips, so they're using the TD service to get there.
Instead of 999, okay.
It's old, Easter Seal's turn.
Yes, we have Cameron Hodgins, consultant from Easter Seal, Southwest Florida, to present on the General Motors grant.
And Brad, I'm gonna do a better job than I did.
Oh, no, you're good.
Everybody, I'm Cameron. I told the Manatee County group this morning, I'm not new to your world. I was at Easter Seals as an employee from 2008 to 14 and at the Glasser Schoenbaum Center in Sarasota and then at Gulf Coast Community Foundation. And now I'm consulting and back at Easter Seals, it's like coming home. And the CEO there said, I have a project for you, here you go. Easter Seals nationally, which is located in Chicago, received $200,000 from GM to pick 4 affiliates across the country to look at their transportation systems. And so Easter Seals here, which is over on Brayton Avenue, right by the old Primo's restaurant, right on the other side of the airport here, was chosen as one of the sites. So they did not write this grant, they did not ask for this money, but they were just kind of given it and said, we want to know what your community thinks about transportation for people who have limited access to it. So in the agenda that you received, I attached some of the parameters of what the GM is really looking for out of this. And we have the money to convene a group who would like to have input about, how to make our systems better. Initially, I was working with Dave and some of his team thinking we could do some of this work within these meetings, but after this morning, I don't think so. And I think we need to do it offsite and it's voluntary if you'd like to attend or not. Really, it's targeting those people who contract with the services. So like an Easter Seals, a Haven, the Academy, Loveland, it's the people that are, serving those who use the service, even a doctor's office or a dialysis clinic. Like what is your experience with the service? Not the agencies that pay the providers for the service. So I think that's the better way to go after what transpired this morning. So my recommended action is, I do want to come back at the September meeting to update you, but in the meantime, we're probably gonna send hey, would you like to participate in this half-day long discussion? We talked about some pain points this morning with the first group about rural services and post-disaster recovery services after a storm. And we will host an offsite meeting with, the appropriate feeding you. And see if we can generate some more fruitful discussion. So look for an email through David's email that comes from us about, hey, do you want to have input in this process? The interesting thing is this final grant report is due to GM by December. So it's quick, it's a quick turnaround. And so we want to have this meeting probably, I would like to shoot for August and then be able to update this group in September at the next TD meetings, what we're finding, what we're seeing. I told the group this morning, I'm not interested in duplicating what's already existing in some of these meetings that you're doing, but this would be more of a free talk, open forum discussion. And you all are nodding your heads, so that seems to sound okay. Is that good? So email about this meeting and then a September report. Okay.
So is it specific, they just want like disaster management?
Well, so when I talked to the Easter Seals team about what is difficult, what's one of their pain points in transportation, it was getting back into transportation after Ian, Debbie, Milton, after November. I know there's other things. Brett mentioned rural, access to more rural.
And I'm going up, and I think this is the other, just as we just talked about with the airport shuttle, is like, you guys in general, when you start talking in the Haven, you start any of these service providers, is that a lot of our counties, we have invisible borders that are being set up by transportation that, you were looking at the airport that we only have 15 riders, we're probably in need of hundreds, but you go of like, it's not any fault of, Breeze or MCAT, that it's just like, they have they have parameters and borders to where they can drive, and if they're, I can only say at one point we had in Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, we had the U-Serve pilot program that ran out of money like 8 months prior, because when they learned that people could go cross county, like it scratched an itch that like was there, that like if GM is really looking to make a dent into how to improve the lives of people with disabilities, it's breaking down those invisible barriers. Disaster relief is great, but like they're still gonna be to this, they're like any transportation provider is gonna be under the same restraints during a hurricane that MCAT is, with Breeze is that it's not that they don't want to, it's that it's not safe to travel. Unless if they can get hovercrafts, like I'm just saying that, like, if you want to, they're serious of wanting to impact the lives of people we serve. It's breaking these invisible barriers down that county transportation just can't.
I was talking to the other Dave here, who said even the person that's supposed to come to this meeting from Sarasota County, who is a user of services, can't get here because of the barrier.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was kind of a low hanging fruit ideas. All of these ideas of like, where are our barriers and what do we struggle with? If we had a magic wand and could fix,
Yes.
This is what we want to discuss at that meeting.
And to add to that, Darryl, I'm gonna put you in the spot here, but I believe that's one of the issues that Veteran Affairs has. As far as the ridership within Sarasota County trying to get to the main locations to provide the services.
Correct.
So that's another key item to add to.
Yeah, big key item.
Gotcha.
Is this the big VA hospital in Pinellas County?
Yeah, so we do have a route that runs from starts pick up in 3 spots in Venice. Then we got a stop in Sarasota, 2 spots, three spots in Sarasota, then it goes up to Bay Pines.
Mhm.
So those are the guys that need specialty care, i.e. guys that are say they have Parkinson's or they have major health conditions and they can't get that service at the clinic. They can't drive themselves.
Right.
So they need the bus to go up to Bay Pines, and sometimes that bus it just goes to specific spots.
Right.
And a lot of times they have to get the Breeze Plus to get to us to get to that bus to get to Pinellas County. So sometimes that can be a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And it really becomes an all day thing.
Yeah, yes, ma'am, it is all day,
That's,
cause Breeze dropped them off in St. Pete. Then they come back and get them at the end of the day, so they may have a 10 o'clock appointment or 9. And they're there all day until the bus comes, the van comes back.
They leave at 1. I read something yesterday, I was at the VA in Sarasota, and it's like they pick up at 8 and then they leave at 1, so they're there. At Bay Pines or whatever for a period of time.
Yes.
Take the shuttle back to the designated spot.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, ma'am.
Seth, do you have that data, how long, going back to the transfer? How long it takes from when they're picked up to when they're dropped off by Manatee County? Does both agencies provide that information as far as how long that rider is on the vehicle?
No, I don't know how we can do that one. They have their assigned rider IDs, I have my assigned rider IDs, you'd have to find a way to link those two together to the same account. The best that I can do is from when I pick them up to where they're going. And then back across the other direction, I can get them to the airport. Once they go to Manatee's hands, I have no way of tracking that.
Yeah. No, I understand that, I just didn't know if the both agencies had I guess a handshake agreement to provide at least that data, because you would know that all the TD riders, I probably shouldn't say all, but majority of the TD trips that go to the airport are probably to be transferred. So you're tracking them because you show there's 15 individuals that they did, I think it was 279 trips or 200 something trips. So you have that data, I guess all that would be needed is the other part of that, I guess Manatee County would show. Okay. This is getting complicated in my head now. Does that 15 trips include the people that you pick up at the airport?
Yes.
Or just that are originating?
That is both, the 270 trips were the picked up and dropped off at the airport. And the 15 unique individuals were either picked up at the airport or dropped off at the airport.
So it would be safe to say that everybody that was picked up on the airport is probably transferred.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what percent of the 15 that was?
All of them. 100%.
Were picked up, the 15 were picked up at the airport?
Oh, no.
I mean, picked up by, I hope nobody's trying this in there
I
for.
was like, oh, yeah, no, it's, you can separate the data, but I don't have that available right now.
No, I don't expect you to have, I'm just wondering, how long would that ride take? Just a good,
How long are they waiting?
no, how long?
I mean, yeah, it depends on, where they coordinate.
Depending on how wherever they start, their trip started from the other county.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that because they're picked up by Breeze, it doesn't mean that they're picked up and dropped off at the airport, they may have. Some deviations in the route, and then when they get to Manatee County, it may have the same thing, so a trip that you would think that it would take, okay, it normally takes you half an hour, let's say in public transportation, it would take you 3, it's actually taking them 5.
Well, then you gotta coordinate the trip and you gotta probably give yourself some wiggle room so
Right.
that, if you plan to get dropped off at 11, you might have to do an 11:30 pickup from
Correct.
MCAT, and then you could be third to be dropped off or whatever.
Then you have your windows, and it doesn't mean because you have a pickup at 11:30, there, what, you guys have what, an hour window?
30 minutes,
30 minutes on each end, correct, so.
no,
Oh, 30 minutes,
15 on each end.
Okay,
okay. So that provides that.
Much better than it used to be.
Yes.
I don't know, just question of how long it would take a TD rider walk from when it passes through your system to when it passes through Manatee County system to get to, the origin and destination, how long it takes, and then it has to go back the other way.
All day.
if you're going, they may only be needing to go a grand total of 6 miles. They might only have to go 2 miles to the airport and then go 4 miles into Maine and vice versa, and it's nothing over, it's just what it is.
No,
It's
right,
like,
yeah.
it's the best of a bad, but yes,
You have to plan for that.
yeah. So,
Something else to add to the list of
Time.
of
yeah,
choke points that may be in this system.
Yeah. Thank you, Cameron. I do think it's really worthwhile that we do have a recommended action to vote to have Cameron come back in September to provide more update, more information. And I think now that we kind of have an idea of what we're, you know, maybe what's going, is that we can brainstorm as well, and probably those that we can have, you know, maybe carve 20-30 minutes. Yes, sir.
I have one more question for you. Between the two counties, do you guys have someone like coordinating those plans between counties, or is that all on the person trying to get the services?
So on the person that gets the services, I do not know if his dispatchers will, if they have a hard time coordinating something, making a phone call to help work it out, but it is on the individual to make that coordination.
I'll make the motion, Brett Gottschalk, to approve or to have Cameron come back and present in September and provide more information. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Maricela, seconds, excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Seeing no one, you're back on the agenda.
And Cameron, anything if you need us to forward any information.
Thank you, yeah,
Just let us know.
I'll send something for
Yeah.
your folks who are interested. Cisco too, yeah.
All right.
Trying to say, wait for me.
Thank you, everyone. Up next is Dale Hansen from FDOT to give the presentation. Give updates for the Florida Department of Transportation.
I do, so I'm here on behalf of Victoria, will be here next quarter. Okay, so she left me her note to give you all. Every year, the Federal Transit Administration has a grant opportunity for 3 of their federal programs. I know some of you've heard this already, but for the new ones, the 5310 program, section 5310 is for seniors and individuals with disabilities. Their FTA section 5311 program is for the rural areas, and the 5339 program is for bus and bus facilities. Now, each of the programs, you can get capital awards for them. The capital could be in the means of shelters and buses, bus awards, like funding for bus awards, for example. But the 5310 and the 5311 programs also offer operating awards as well. And with each of the programs, there's certain specific eligibility requirements for them. Now, the grant opportunity comes around every single year, and agencies can apply. They apply through the Department of Transportation, which is why I'm speaking about it, even though it's an FTA program. FTA gives the money to the states, and the state disperses the money to the subrecipients for these funds. Every December is when the application process comes around, and usually it takes about a whole entire year for a PTGA, a public transportation grant agreement, or a contract to be established. So, in the current state fiscal year, which ends June 30th, we have finally executed all of our contracts for this year, which is great. So therefore, Breeze Transit's vehicles, 5310 capital award was just executed for 3 vehicles. And then we received 37 grant applications this past December for FFY 25. Federal fiscal year 25, and that's encompassing all of 5310, 5311, and 5339 programs. So we received 37 applications. They're in review for this area. We received applications from Breeze Transit and Easter Seals, Southwest Florida, for the 5310 program, which again is for the seniors and individuals with disabilities. Right, next topic is training opportunities. Every year in June, there is the Professional Development Workshop and Transit Safety and Operations Summit hosted by FPTA, FDOT, and Center for Urban Transportation Research. Registration, I think, is still open. It's held in Tampa, right near USF. If you need to register, let me know. I can give you that link. Otherwise, that's it. Any questions?
Transportation there? No, I'm just kidding.
Do you live in Hillsborough?
Right.
I don't know, I have to think about that one.
You gotta coordinate through Sarasota. And then from Manatee to Hillsborough.
You'll have to start 2 days before, you have to get to the airport and then you'll get to Pinellas and.
Hovercraft sounded really good.
Thank you, Dale. Moving on to Mr. David Machado for the MPO staff report.
I think I talked enough. No, nothing major to update. I remind everybody of our next meetings. The September one and the December one. I gotta remind you guys that the CTV meeting is coming up and the December one isn't still coordinated or put on the schedule for anybody, because they haven't figured that out themselves. And then obviously we have the FPTA. What's it called?
Which month again?
The September one.
Yeah, that's the FPTA conference.
The annual conference and expo, and that's where the roundtable, TD roundtable will be. If we receive more information, I can pass that along to you guys. In addition to that, as far as me being the lead for the TD stuff, I'm taking a step back from it. With all the changes that with I don't know if everybody knows, but Dave is retiring in December. So with all the movement of staff and stuff like that, I gotta take the time to take care of what I have to take financially. So Barshini will be taking lead on it. I'll still be around. I'll still help her through the process until she feels comfortable and that she can take it over. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You guys get to not deal with me anymore.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking to me, I'm like, wow. Congratulations. Oh, okay. I'll take it. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think 2 years ago, almost around this time, I was interning with Breeze. It was my technical first internship here in the US, and it was so much fun. So I take this as another exciting opportunity to get more involved and work with transit and evolve. So yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
I got something real quick, I know this was, but I believe because so in September, the LCB meeting for this county is on September 10th. The prior week is the FPTA conference and David was just mentioning, so as a result, some other LCBs are on the same day on September 10th as well. So if perhaps you're an individual who covers a large territory and you are going to multiple LCBs, I believe Collier County is also that day, as well as Lee County is that day. So I want to bring that to your attention in case you need to get coverage for some of them.
Excellent. It is now everyone's favorite time of the day. It is once around the table. So I got nothing. I will.
No update.
No updates.
Alexandria, any update? Nothing?
Except we're back in our new building. I mean, our old building.
Yay.
Yay, yeah, the old one, 7318. South Canyon Trail stuff.
Nice. Congratulations.
And we're very happy. The one with the big mural on it. Probably see it when the planes are taking off.
Oh, there you go.
That's it, that's what I have to.
Right.
I just want to mention that our Breeze Transit Director, Jane Grog, has offered to, if there's interest, to do a kind of an overview on the Breeze on-demand system. She's done this presentation to the NPO board and our some of our municipalities and coordination meetings, so she didn't know if it might be something that would be of interest, so since it's a fairly new program, just to kind of get a little bit of context for some of the discussions that may evolve in the future, but just throwing it out there if there's any interest, if there's maybe an agenda day that's light, then just keep that in mind.
Maybe the November, cause I know that's pretty quick after September and we have Easter seals once again, maybe we penciled that in for November.
Yeah, we can do that, that could, Cameron can kick off the round of
Yeah.
people doing presentations again. If that's what everybody
Yeah,
wants.
What is the November meeting?
I think it's the 12th.
Yes, the 12th.
Yeah, September is the 10th and November is the 12th.
Okay, I'll relay that back.
Kimberly, I have a question.
I just have, if I wanted someone from Breeze to come to a staff meeting to present like overview of programs, who would I contact? Okay,
If it's all programs, I would maybe go with Miranda first.
okay, cause I know we get like bus passes and stuff, but sometimes the process isn't that easy for both we have to purchase the passes, so it just, and also I know that you have like the different programs, so. We just wanted a little bit more information.
So I would maybe start with her and she can get a little bit more information. What's needed. Miranda, she's our communications coordinator. MIRAN.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I'm good.
Set.
All right.
Just, if you have been keeping up with, everything with the Human Health Administration, we did have some successful wins, but just, putting a plug to continue advocacy, because LIHEAP, the CSBG, and some other programs are still up for elimination, at that level, and then also some severely, cut programs. So just making sure that you are advocating so that we don't lose, some of these programs. And you can always sign up to our newsletter. I always send email blast in regards to things that we should be advocating for. And we do cover persons with disabilities and older adults.
Thank you.
I'll mention, we're in the process of updating our camera system on our buses to the latest and greatest technology. These are AI enabled cameras that will monitor passenger and driver behavior, and will also monitor the performance of the vehicle as well as GIS, a second GIS location. We can already do that, but we'll have us back up now for that. The AI technology is pretty impressive with these cameras. They'll be able to tell us if the driver, for instance, if the driver's wearing their seatbelt, or if they stop too quickly, or if they turn too sharp, or if they yawn. And not only that, but we can add things to that too as time goes on. Tell us if they run a stop sign, if they speed. A great safety tool for us to be able to use. We have a pretty good safety record now, but we'd like to see it even better. Get down to 0 accidents. So we're really looking forward to that. That's in process. Should be completely installed within the next couple of weeks.
Nice. Can't wait to hear in September how the drivers think.
What drivers?
All right.
It is a game changer.
Yeah,
for us.
oh, yeah,
It really is.
Thank you, Scott.
That's it.
I have nothing.
All right. We made it at 12:30 right on the head. The meeting is adjourned. Save the date, September 10th. Oh, 2:30.
I was gonna say that.
We're on mountain time. Thank you, everyone.